Managing Arsenal's summer, the Eberechi opportunity, a possible 8th signing, and 5 set for exit. With pre-season winding down and Arsenal preparing for a high-stakes trip to Old Trafford to face Manchester United, there's still over 2 weeks left in the summer transfer window, and plenty of business to be done. The Gunners have already welcomed 6 new faces to the squad, but the appetite among fans remains unsatisfied. Calls for a 7th signing are only growing louder, especially with Eberechi now heavily linked to Tottenham. The idea of losing him to their North London rivals has intensified pressure on the club, and on Mikel Arteta. There's a growing sentiment that without another attacking option, Arsenal may fall short of what's needed to mount a serious challenge this season. So how the club approaches these final weeks of the window could shape not just this campaign, but the trajectory of the team moving forward. Go all in for Eberechi. If there's a deal to be done for Arsenal must act boldly and get it over the line. Pull the financial levers, move some players, free up the space, but don't let Spurs hijack what could be one of the marquee signings of the window. Even if Arsenal need to offload before buying, the club should already be laying the groundwork with Iza's camp. Assurances should be made, if they haven't been already, that he's a priority. His creativity, versatility, and flair would add a much-needed spark to the final third, and his Premier League experience makes him a plug-and-play option. The possible exits of Reiss Nelson, Fabio Vieira, Albert Sambi Lokonga, Oleksandr Zinchenko, and Leandro Trossard, each recently linked with moves, could be the key to unlocking a deal for The outgoings, trimming smartly, not just quickly. Alongside those 5, goalkeeper Karl Hein is expected to move on, and Jakub Kiwior has drawn interest from clubs in Germany, Italy, and Portugal. However, letting Kiwior go could be a misstep. His defensive depth is valuable across a long season where injuries are inevitable. Then there's the youth setup. Loaning out promising talents is not just about development, but also about increasing future value. Getting this part of the strategy right is crucial for building long-term sustainability and depth. The club also must resist selling key depth pieces too hastily. And above all, Arsenal must ensure their core remains intact, especially with long-term security for players like Bukayo Saka and William Saliba remaining a top priority. A possible 8th signing? If the Gunners manage to bring in he would become the 7th addition this summer. But even then, there's chatter that one more reinforcement, an 8th signing, could still be needed, especially to round out the attack or bolster midfield depth. In truth, unless multiple exits are finalized quickly, signing another high-caliber player beyond seems unlikely due to both squad size and financial constraints. There's also the challenge of fitting everyone into a matchday squad. As things stand, Arsenal's upcoming clash at Old Trafford will already see some experienced names left out of the 20-man squad. This doesn't even account for Gabriel Jesus, who's expected back later in the year, or exciting young prospect Max Daumann, let alone any late window additions. The stakes are high. Arsenal are on the brink of something special. But to stay on track with their ambitions, to win major trophies and compete toe-to-toe with Manchester City, they can't afford to hesitate. The final days of the window present a moment of truth. Will the club back Arteta one last time with a game-changing signing? Or will missed opportunities define yet another season? Eberechi could be that difference-maker. And if Arsenal want to win now, it's time to act like it. Managing the Arsenal-Eberechi deal, final summer decisions, and key departures. As the final stretch of the summer transfer window approaches, Arsenal's activity, or lack thereof, could define their 2025-26 campaign. With 6 signings already confirmed, fans remain hungry for more. And as whispers around Eberechi grow louder, the pressure is mounting in North London. The dilemma, a risk Arsenal can't afford. Has long been admired by Mikel Arteta and his coaching staff. With his flair, creativity, and ability to unlock tight defenses, he fits perfectly into Arsenal's high-tempo attacking system. But with Tottenham now heavily linked and pushing to close a deal, Arsenal can't afford to sit back. The situation is urgent. Reportedly favors a move to Arsenal, but hesitation and financial restrictions could leave the door wide open for Spurs to swoop in. If Arsenal want him, they need to act decisively. That means moving players, restructuring finances, and doing whatever it takes to bring him in before the window shuts. The need for outgoings. To make space financially and within the squad, Arsenal must offload several players. Reiss Nelson, Fabio Vieira, Albert Sambi Lokonga, Leandro Trossard, and even Oleksandr Zinchenko have all been linked with exits. Some may be sold permanently, while others could leave on loan. The club must also manage younger talents carefully, sending the right prospects on loan to gain experience, while avoiding the mistake of thinning out the squad too much, especially with multiple competitions on the horizon. Holding on to depth where it matters. Jakub Kiwior has drawn interest from clubs in Germany and Italy, but his ability to provide cover at both left-back and centre-back makes him a valuable squad piece. Letting him go now could create defensive depth issues, particularly if injuries begin to pile up. At the same time, key players like Bukayo Saka and William Saliba must be protected and supported. Losing core starters in the final weeks of the window would be destabilizing. The potential 8th signing, dream or reality? If Eze becomes the 7th signing, there's talk that an 8th edition could still be on the table, but only under the right circumstances. This likely depends on player sales, wage adjustments, and whether Arsenal believe a final marquee signing can elevate them into true title contention. Still, it's unlikely the club will spend big again without making room both financially and within the 25-man squad. With Gabriel Jesus yet to return from injury, and other key players still working back to full fitness, squad balance is critical. Upcoming fixtures and final pressure. Arsenal's upcoming trip to Old Trafford is a reminder that the season waits for no one. Arteta will already have to leave experienced names out of the matchday squad, highlighting how crowded, and possibly unbalanced, the current roster is. With time running out and rivals growing stronger, how Arsenal handles the Eze situation and its final transfer decisions may ultimately define whether this is a year of promise fulfilled or potential wasted. Notable absences, transfer clues, and a curious missing name, behind the scenes of Arsenal's media day. As the Premier League season draws near, Arsenal players are ticking off all the usual pre-season duties, from filming promo clips for broadcasters to snapping photos for graphics like matchday lineups. But beyond the glossy images and fresh kits, Media Day often reveals more than just smiles and celebrations. It gives fans a sneak peek into what's really going on behind the scenes. Who's in and who's out? Clues from Arsenal's Media Day. The club set up a sleek backdrop with Arsenal-themed designs to bring some flair to the shoot. And while not all visuals have been released yet, we've already spotted a few interesting details, including surprise appearances from players rumored to be on the way out, and a few curious omissions that raise eyebrows. Among those featured were several names heavily linked with potential exits: Fabio Vieira, Albert Sambi Lokonga, Karl Hein, Oleksandr Zinchenko, and Reiss Nelson. Their inclusion doesn't confirm they're staying, but it suggests decisions haven't been finalized. Even Leandro Trossard, despite ongoing speculation, was present, though it's understood the club is discussing a potential contract renewal. Should any of these players depart in the coming weeks, Arsenal may need a quick turnaround media shoot for any last-minute arrivals to fit them into broadcast materials. Enter Victor Gyökeres, who made his Media Day debut, clearly enjoying the spotlight and embracing his new role. Where's Martin Zubimendi? One absence that stood out was Martin Zubimendi. Nearly every senior player was present, except the Spanish midfielder. He played without any issues in the recent friendly against Athletic Club, so his no-show isn't due to injury. It's possible he was ill, or simply missed the shoot for another reason. Football de London has reached out to the club for comment and will update once there's more clarity. Young duo missing, but with good reason. Two of Arsenal's standout academy prospects this summer, Max Daumann and Marley Salmon, were notably absent. Both just 15 years old, they impressed in pre-season, especially Daumann, who could even make the squad for the opener against Manchester United. Because Daumann turned 16 during the season, he's eligible to feature in the Premier League, similar to Ethan Nwanery's historic debut at just 15. Their absence likely comes down to age-related protocol rather than any reflection on their future involvement, so don't be surprised to see their names popping up in Cup squads soon. Final thoughts. While Media Day is mainly a PR event, it often provides subtle hints about what's to come. With the transfer window still open, Arsenal's squad could look quite different by September, and these early signs are worth watching. Whether it's surprise exits, fresh faces, or rising stars, Arsenal's season promises drama from day one. Media Day revelations. A new chapter unfolds. Just days after Arsenal's Media Day, the real story behind the images is starting to come into focus. Beyond the posed photos and carefully edited clips, the event has offered insight into Arsenal's ambitions, uncertainties, and shifting dynamics ahead of the new Premier League season. Fresh faces, new energy. One of the standout additions this summer is striker Victor Gyökeres. He made an immediate impact at Media Day, fully embracing his new role and even choosing the iconic number 14 shirt. His presence signals Arsenal's intent to refresh their attack with power, directness, and renewed hunger for goals. Another new signing, midfielder Martin Zubimendi, has not yet been officially introduced through club media, and his absence from Media Day only fueled speculation. However, all indications suggest that this is part of a carefully managed rollout rather than any setback or delay. Also present was Noni Madueke, a dynamic winger who joined Arsenal to add speed, flair, and competition out wide. His involvement in Media Day confirmed that he is not here to ease into the squad, he's here to fight for a starting place. The transfer puzzle. Several players who participated in Media Day could still be heading for the exit before the window closes. Fabio Vieira, Albert Sambi Lokonga, Reiss Nelson, Karl Hein, and Oleksandr Zinchenko have all been linked with potential moves. Whether permanent or loan deals, these exits would create space in the squad, and more importantly, flexibility in Arsenal's financial strategy for potential last-minute signings. Eberechi remains a major target. Arsenal's interest in the Crystal Palace playmaker is serious, and an agreement is reportedly close. However, any incoming move depends on outgoings being finalized in time, adding another layer of urgency to the club's remaining transfer business. Tactical and emotional adjustments. This season isn't just about new signings, it's also about reconnecting with fans and re-energizing the Emirates. One subtle but symbolic change made this summer was the removal of the tunnel cover at the stadium. Now players walk out fully exposed to the stands, enhancing the pre-match energy and reconnecting the squad with supporters in a more visceral way. Internally, there are emotional battles being fought as well. Zinchenko recently opened up about the personal struggles he endured last season, calling it the worst of his career. His honesty and vulnerability have earned him respect, even as uncertainty surrounds his future. The Martinelli question. Gabriel Martinelli finds himself at a crossroads. Once a guaranteed starter, his role is now under scrutiny following a dip in form. With Madueke arriving and other attackers pushing for minutes, Martinelli will need to rediscover his sharpness to secure his place in the 11. His goal record remains impressive, but competition is fiercer than ever. Youth prospects continue to rise. Though absent from Media Day due to their age, Max Daumann and Marley Salmon have impressed during pre-season. Both are just 15 years old, but they've shown maturity beyond their years. Daumann, in particular, is expected to be available for selection soon, and could even be included in the squad to face Manchester United in the opening match of the season. Ethan Nwaneri, now under a new long-term contract, remains another young gem Arsenal are nurturing carefully. His path to the first team looks increasingly clear, and he could feature more prominently in cup competitions. Looking ahead. With the Premier League kickoff just days away, Arsenal's story is far from finished. The squad could still change dramatically in the final stretch of the transfer window. Media Day provided a polished surface, but underneath it, a season of transformation, ambition, and high emotional stakes is quietly taking shape. From high-profile arrivals to emotional revelations and youth breakthroughs, Arsenal is preparing for a campaign that could define the next chapter of the club's identity. Fans won't have to wait long to see it all unfold. Mikel Arteta has already made key tactical tweaks ahead of Arsenal's clash with Man United. With just days to go before Arsenal face Manchester United at Old Trafford, Mikel Arteta has already started making smart tactical adjustments that could prove decisive. While Arsenal's fixture list may look tricky on paper, a strong showing in the opening 6 games could put them in the perfect position to mount a serious title challenge. One of the biggest talking points heading into the new season has been the left flank. There's still hope within the club that Arsenal could dip back into the market to strengthen that side, especially with question marks hanging over Leandro Trossard and Gabriel Martinelli. Their form, consistency, and overall impact have come under scrutiny, and should either depart, it could open the door to a significant signing. However, it's becoming clear that the issues on the left side go beyond individual performances. Ahead of the 3-0 win against Athletic Club, Football London suggested a tactical shift that might unlock more balance on the pitch, and it seems Arteta listened. One notable change was moving Martin Odegaard into a more central position. The result? A brilliant pass that found Martinelli making a diagonal run, which in turn created space for Bukayo Saka. It was a clear signal that Arteta is rethinking his midfield structure for the season ahead. Another exciting development was the fluid positioning of Zubimendi and Declan Rice, who at times swapped sides. This allowed the Spanish playmaker to support the left wing more directly, something Arsenal had been lacking. The added unpredictability in their attacking movements gave the Gunners a new dimension, something that could make all the difference in tight matches. So far this pre-season, fans haven't seen too much of what could be considered Arsenal's best 11, but Saturday's win gave us the clearest picture yet. While some roles remain up for grabs, one thing is certain: the new midfield dynamics, particularly with Zubimendi and Rice, have made the left side a real threat again. Late in the match, Noni Madueke came off the bench and made an instant impact, delivering a pinpoint cross for Victor Gyökeres, who struck the post in what would have been his second goal of the game. As Arsenal head to Manchester on Sunday, all eyes will be on whether these tactical adjustments truly pay off. If they do, Arteta's men might just have found the extra gear they need to reach the Premier League summit. Arteta's tactical shift could define Arsenal's season. As Arsenal prepare to face Manchester United at Old Trafford, Mikel Arteta's recent tactical changes are beginning to reshape the narrative around the club's ambitions this season. The adjustments, subtle yet significant, may be exactly what Arsenal need to compete at the highest level and stay in the title race. Balancing style with steel. Arteta has made it clear that tactical intelligence must be paired with physical and mental resilience. His emphasis on emotional control, intensity, and physical readiness reflects a manager who understands the demands of a grueling 11-month campaign. For Arsenal, success won't come just from playing attractive football. It will come from grit, consistency, and adaptability. A stronger, deeper squad. The club has invested heavily this summer, bringing in names like Victor Gyökeres, Noni Madueke, Martin Zubimendi, and Christian Norgard. These additions weren't just made to deepen the squad. They were brought in to compete immediately and raise the overall quality on the pitch. With this new depth, Arsenal are better equipped to rotate, respond to injuries, and maintain performance levels across multiple competitions. The left flank under the microscope. The left side of Arsenal's attack has long been a concern, and while both Gabriel Martinelli and Leandro Trossard have shown flashes of quality, questions about their consistency remain. Arteta's recent tactical reshuffle, particularly moving Martin Odegaard more centrally and encouraging Zubimendi to provide support on the left, appears to be aimed at unlocking that side of the pitch. The early signs are positive. The team looked more dynamic and less predictable, and Martinelli found more space to operate effectively. A defining season for Martinelli. Martinelli's situation is particularly delicate. A fan favorite for much of his Arsenal career, he now finds himself under pressure to perform at a higher level. Although he remains a key part of Arteta's plans, increased competition and tactical changes mean he can no longer take his place for granted. If he can rediscover his best form, he could be pivotal. But if his performances remain inconsistent, others are ready to step in. Creative firepower incoming? Reports suggest that Arsenal are also close to securing the signing of Eberechi, a move that would further enhance their creative options, particularly in tight games where unlocking low blocks becomes crucial. Eze's flair and ability to carry the ball through midfield would offer a new dimension and reduce the creative burden currently resting on Odegaard. What's next? As Arsenal step onto the pitch at Old Trafford, the big question is whether these tactical changes will translate into tangible results. If the reshaped midfield and improved squad balance click into place, Arsenal may finally have the depth, discipline, and unpredictability needed to push for the Premier League title. This is more than just another season. It's a test of whether this iteration of Arteta's Arsenal can finally take that next decisive step. All the pieces are there. Now it's about putting them together at the right time.